very first posing session ever was with her. And now it's like a full circle, and now we work together, and it's crazy seeing that. So it's been since 2020, I think January 2021. So that's when I really first decided to prep. So yeah, and we've been growing since then, and we've been close for a while, and we got really close after my accident, my car accident. I was on my way to see her, and I was still an amateur during the time. It was leading up to Universe, and she used to help even train me, so I used to sometimes go do training with her. And I was going to meet her on the way there when I got into that accident, and she literally dropped everything to come to the hospital to be there for me. And at that time we were close, but not super close. And then we bonded there. And then we've grown since then. And she's competed in bikini for many, many years. And now she transitioned recently to fit model. And it was like her debut after years of not competing was this year in July, I believe. So she did great. She did the Masters Nationals as well. She did Indiana show and then Masters Nationals, and she got third and fifth in her class. So yeah, looks like fit model is where she is meant to be.
So any plans for do another national show? Like just like as a couple coming up. There's the Olympia amateurs. There's the nationals in Texas, and also is she over 40? Then there's also the USA's Masters, and that's I
Yeah,
think in November.
yeah. She could do all those because she's, I think, in her late 40s or 50s. But she was tempted, but I think she's gonna maybe wait till early next year, I think, unless she decides last minute to jump in. She's in shape right now, so she could
Yeah,
if she diets for a couple of weeks. So
yeah. Like I said, opportunities there. I mean, like I said, the Olympias is just around the corner, or
mhm.
like I said again, Texas. And if she want to do next year, she always can do Universe because you're both in Ohio, so that's not too far.
Yeah,
And also, there's still the Masters, the Team
master
Collegiate show in Pittsburgh. That's also the first year.
mhm.
We have here Shatsu here. We have here Richard. He says this. He says Pontiac is back. He says his name is Pontiac 65. That's somebody you know.
No, I don't.
So yeah, yeah. That's the thing about bodybuilding, especially the cost of being a competitor. For y'all ladies, it's more expensive show day than it is because like the men, they have their expenses, but it's like this: the guys, all they got to wear a pair of banana hammocks and boy shorts and put on some tan. That's it.
Mhm.
Y'all ladies, you have to be not just have a great physique, but also present a very feminine look, especially in your division, which is very considered very, very feminine. Some women have an argument that you're not really bodybuilders, but here's the thing is, you are female bodybuilders. You're just a different category. Like I said,
Yeah,
you're not women's bodybuilding, not women's physique, not figure, you're bikini. Even though when it first came out, I was a big fan of it. Honestly, I'm still not a big fan of it. But I'm often to like hear your stories and you ladies how you got to the sport. And the
mhm.
thing is, like I said again, the cost because your suits that's right there. That's going to cost you a good few hundred to $1,000. Then you have to prep for the shows. Then you have your high heels. Then you have your hair. You have your makeup. You have this and that. Like, who's your suit designer? Because I know quite a few ladies we're following who are suit designers.
Yeah, Toxic Angels. I don't know if you heard of them.
Yeah, I heard that.
They're-
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're pretty popular. So Toxic Angels is the suit that I wore this season, and I'll continue with them. I love them. They're great. Great quality suit. And expensive, but worth it. But all suits are expensive, and anyone that's any suit that is like going to last, good quality, those are going to be the expensive ones, and it's better to do that than wear a cheaper suit and then lose because of your suit on stage, so because everything matters. So yeah, Toxic, and then shoes, and shoe fairy is great for that. And then jewelry, suit, and then the hair, makeup, all that, it adds up. It adds up. And our show morning is just kind of hectic because we're doing hair. You have to make time for hair, makeup, all that. So it's not just, you put on board shorts and you're good. It's a lot of different things that go into it.
Yeah, because actually you got this presentation of muscle and femininity, and
Yeah.
sometimes I've talked to ladies who it's a tough sport for women because even with you in a division like bikini, there's
Hmm.
these people who might feel like, why she got all these muscles? I say, wait a minute, it's not like she's a bikini competitor, but any little bit of muscle they see, it's like you're trying to be a man, you're trying to be, dude.
Yeah.
This is
It's
come
crazy.
on. it, I,
Yeah.
I feel like it's guys like that because they either don't understand, don't have the passion or discipline to do this sport. Not it's just not for everybody to do this
Yeah.
sport.
Yeah, exactly. I think people who don't, at least, like you said, understand the sport or not familiar with it, but those who are really in it, they don't see any issues with women having muscle because they've seen it and they're used to it. And I don't know, maybe it's intimidating. I don't know, for some guys when they see women with muscle, I don't know what it is, um, but then, like you said, like in bikini, it's not a lot of muscle, it's just a little, but that little can also seem masculine to some people. um and that's where I'd explain to my parents too, like bikini. And at the time when I was telling them, fit model wasn't a thing, but I was saying bikini is like the most feminine sport, or most feminine division in the sport, and the least amount of muscle. So if you think I have a lot of muscle, I show them pictures of other girls in other divisions have a lot of muscle and show in comparison, and it's amazing. Like, I admire their physiques, but I was trying to explain like the difference of my level of muscle versus, because to them they only know me, and so then to them it's a lot, but then I show them other divisions and show them like my division is one of the less muscular and more of the focus on femininity, with the suit and look and everything. So
Yeah,
yeah.
especially if you look at wellness, those girls are at the level of maybe close to figure and maybe all the way to women's bodybuilding. I
Mhm.
see some wellness competitors who are just as built and stacked. You just got bigger legs and quads.
Mhm.
And that's the thing is that I think that's why I wish more people get educated more about this. Just don't jump to conclusions about what they
Yeah.
see. It's so easy to make assumptions. And then I said there's also that flip side too, V, where these other guys, like you say, like V, she a pretty girl. I mean, yeah, she got a nice body. Just yeah, those guys. Those are the guys you gotta be looking out for. I know, because I've talked to ladies tell me that some guys can be weird, can be the extreme of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And are you talking about in social media?
Yes, and in
Yeah.
general, sometimes in public, you might, I know one lady told me how a story where she was like being stalked by this guy.
Yeah.
It's just, and you're like I said, you're very attractive. I know you probably can handle yourself because you're military. But that thing is, it's an old saying. It's a saying I learned from my favorite movie that it begins. Beware of surroundings young time, young Master Wayne. They'll give it sure footing for a cutting blow. And you gotta be aware of how people react to you. I've laid told me that sometimes people are really friendly. They say, wow, they be interested and you want to know. And then some people can be just straight out assholes.
Yeah, that's true. And that's where I think you have to just be careful, and then I, and not, yeah, you just have to be careful in how you interact with people on social media, because some things can be blown up in different ways as well. And a lot of times when someone is either just being weird or creepy, or just you're getting some kind of red signals, I just don't even answer. Like, you don't want to even engage in that sort of thing, and then cause even worse, problems. But then you also will, just the higher you rise, on the flip side, you also get people who can be more haters, and those kind of things. Luckily, I haven't had a lot of issues. There have been some weird DMs about, just weird guys, or just like weird comments, and when I don't engage as much in it, they realize, okay, it's not working, so then they stop, sort of thing. But yeah, so you just kind of have to handle and like see how you also present yourself as well on social media and things like that. And yeah, and be careful. That was one of the things I think even my mom was like worried about as I was growing on social media, like about those kind of things. But you just have to see how you basically interact with people. And I'll talk to anyone really. Like I'm open to talking to people until they give me a reason to not, but I'm usually very open on social media and DMs and everything. I try to answer people. Yeah, so
Yeah,
yeah.
maybe going back to think of a movie I used to watch just before your time. It's called Roadhouse with the late Patrick Swayze. His character was Dalton, and he was telling these guys they ran a bar. He was like the cooler. He says, "I'm the cooler." And sometimes he said like this, there's a time to be nice and time not to be nice. And
Mm-hmm.
and then like dealing with the haters, like says, let them hate till they can't hate no more. That means that they have nothing else in their lives but to hate on you because you're doing something that they either don't have the courage, the discipline, or the intelligence to do. Because when I
Yeah.
talk to you ladies, your stories kind of just amaze me because some people just don't understand this. And from what I've learned in my conversations and meeting some of you ladies and hearing your stories, it's just something that really should inspire anybody. I think more people should be open to listening and maybe understanding what it takes to be a bodybuilder. And if this is
Mm-hmm.
something that's not for you, it's not for you. Like most definitely come back is back to this training. Like what's the day like? Like when you go to the gym, what's that workout you're saying? I know I love it. It's my favorite. And I was damn, I gotta do this shit.
In the gym, like different workouts. Um, Honestly, I like all the body parts I train. Back then, when I used to train quads, I used to hate quads. I'm like, damn, I don't want to, have to get into my dark place to train quads. But now I got to a point where I'm not allowed to train quads, but now I miss it. I miss squatting. I miss all that. Some days, yeah, you get tired and you don't want to, you're like not as motivated to train, but then discipline pushes you, or pre-workout or caffeine or whatever,
Mhm.
pushes you to do it. And yeah, I think the feeling of how you feel after is what pushes me sometimes. I'm like, okay, I'm going to feel good after. Um, and yeah, I think my favorite really is to train is glutes because I had to focus on that so much. And that's the only part I really can focus on right now. So I've grown to love it. I also teach a glute camp once a week in the gym because I'm just like, I know so much about it now that I've, that's all I can really train. Um, yeah. So
Yeah.
I love training though. Training's fun.
Yeah, you're like my favorite classic fighters, Mike Tyson. I just like to fight. I just like doing what I like to do because like, and it's you're doing good work with your clients and your life. I mean, you got a busy life between medical school, being a coach and a trainer. And right now you're not active, but once you get back in action, it's gonna eventually they're gonna call you because as the military when they put investments in you, it's like pay what you owe. That's what the
Yeah.
mindset
Oh
is.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. Which
Yeah.
I'm ready for. I'm ready for it. Um, yeah. So it's a lot. It's a lot to juggle. And sometimes social life can get a kick at it. Like my social life gets a little bit down because of it sometimes, but I try my best to make sure I even give myself that time for myself besides just work and stuff like that so I can recharge and balance. Um, but I think I just love being busy. I love what I do, and I think I thrive on being busy. Because if I don't have as much things to do, I'm almost bored, So like I need constant stimulation. Um yeah, so but it is a balance for sure. And I do like I nowadays I give myself time even just to go out, especially in the off season when I have more flexibility with stuff and I can actually like go out and eat and stuff like that. I try to make the most of it and be like give back to my friends who are so understanding of when I'm in prep and they, like when I'm not able to hang out as much. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know quite a few people tell me that sometimes when you get in sport, your life does change. You can't go hang out with your friends all the time because you have to go get to bed because you got to get up early in the morning and get ready for workouts. And, you want to start your day out so you don't have to worry about, let me get the first workout out of the way. If it's fast cardio, if it's just me just going to the gym and doing leg work or doing this or doing that. And then, being on a strict diet because, that's the most important part. Protein diet is the
Yeah.
most important part of the bodybuilder. Like, I often ask this question, V, what was that last thing that you wanted after your last competition? That thing that you desired, that thing that is, I would say, make you stranger or make you stronger.
You talking about like cravings or like
Yes,
post show?
cravings. Yeah,
Um, yeah, I'm a big foodie actually, so I love food. I mean, I'm on top of my diet when I'm in prep. It's like switch, a flip of the switch, and I'm like very strict. But once the show is done and I'm able to eat, I'm a big sweet tooth person, so I love my cookies, brownies, all that. But my cheat meal always number one is so simple, but it's a burger and fries. Like that's my favorite food, which
that
is like so simple, but I just love it. That's the if anyone asks me to pick food and then that's on the menu, I'll pick that. Um
that is, I think, the staple of every bodybuilder's post-show meal,
yeah,
cravings. It
so
is a burger and fries. Now
good.
I have her pizza, lasagna. One of the strangest one I've ever heard a couple of times is sushi. I, ma'am, I'm from the South.
Yeah.
And I grew up poor, but I've never been so poor. My mom had to cook, give us cold raw fish. Yeah, but the thing is also food is it's like an addiction. I know I love my sugar. I
Oh,
had a thing of oatmeal cookies early this morning. It'd be like this. It'd be like I like New Jack City on a cookie. It'd be calling my name, man. It'd be calling my name, But
that's
that thing is you have to maintain to fight those cravings because sometimes when you're on prep, I know you even though you're eating like a good amount of the day, but you're eating very high proteins, low fats, not a lot of sugars, not a lot of salt. Your
mhm,
body's burning that up once it gets in your system because it's usually to build the muscle.
yeah.
And just like when you're hanging out with your family, I know your mother, she cooks traditional Indian food and
Hmm.
and you hear it's wafting in your face, it says, "Come here, Verushqa. Can you have some dinner with us?" You say, "Nah, ma, I can't, I
Yeah.
can't, I can't." Be calling your name, but that's the thing is, that's the point of discipline. More than
Mm,
this, motivation can change with the wind because you can get up one morning and you know
yeah.
what, I don't feel like doing this. I'm gonna go back to sleep. But then you
Yeah.
get up in the morning and say, you know what, even though it looks like it's raining outside or it's kind of like whatever, you try to find that let me go ahead and push and do what I need to do and get my day done.
That's so true. That's what really will push you because people sometimes ask how are you so motivated all the time? It's not true. I'm not, like motivation comes and goes. It's discipline that keeps you going. And in prep, you most a lot of times you're not motivated. You feel sucky and you don't want to do your morning cardio and all that, but the discipline is what pushes you, and you think in your head, and I like to think in my head like I want to go on that stage knowing I left no stone unturned, and no regrets. Like I can say that I did everything I was told. I didn't miss a cardio. I didn't do that. That's gonna make me feel good when I go on stage, knowing okay, I couldn't have done any better. I did everything I could with what I was told. So that's the mindset I have, and so in prep it's like a flip of the switch for me, and I've never cheated in prep. I just it's like a different mindset for me. Off season's different for me because I'm a foodie. I do enjoy my treats off season and mostly try to stick to my diet and then have my like a schedule type cheat meal and stuff. And I stay continuing checking in with my coach to keep me accountable in the off season. But yeah, I think off season it's similar, but you're just on your diet mostly like 80-90%, and then that last percent you can enjoy and balance, because in prep it's no balance. So yeah, but it's like a lifestyle, so you have to keep it going.
Yes, yes. You find balance. You find one set. Namaste, as y'all say. It's
Oh
just
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. You want to find that thing that keeps you going. Where
Hmm.
some days where you feel like I can't push on, but then if you ever watched the Rocky movies, I watched them a lot when I was growing up, and like Rocky
Yeah.
Balboa, we said like it doesn't matter how hard you think you hit, it's how hard you can take the hits and keep moving forward. You
Hmm.
gotta
Yeah.
keep moving forward because, like I said, you want to go to the Olympia, you want to go to like the show, like the All-Stars Classic. That's right there in your backyard. You want to really be the top of your game. You
Yeah.
gotta be willing to go the distance. And sometimes, there'll be days where you feel like, you know what, I can't go anymore. But then
Mhm.
there'll be that, like, it's a little, I remember that scene from Rocky or Four when it says, like, sometimes you feel like you're hurt, and then you hear a little angel on your shoulder says, "Get up, you son of a bitch. Mickey loves you." We got here
Yeah.
a man, KL. He says, "Hey, what's up? What's up, brother? What's up with you? He just finished an interview a while ago. Shout out to my brother. He was on earlier. You know. So we're not going to keep her too much longer. I know she's a busy lady. She has a job. She has that. She has a cat. She has a lot. This is something to ask. Are you sponsored?
Yeah, so I'm sponsored by a company called High Tea. They're a new, well, they're not a new company, but they're rebranding High Tea. It's a company that High Tea is one of their projects, and I am sponsored with them, and fully sponsored athlete with them. And actually, they're trying to bring their product. They're rebranding it, and they want to bring it to India. It's a natural testosterone supplement. It's like all natural, herbal, but they're rebranding it, and it used to be in the market, and in the U.S. market. It's also the same company that owns Nugenics and everything, so they're a pretty big company, but they want to bring this new product to India, and they want to get into the bodybuilding scene. So they're going to also, I believe, sponsor Sharu's show. I'm going to be going there this November as well to work with them in their booth as a meet and greet, basically signing autographs, things like that. And for the November show that's coming up in Sharu in Mumbai. But yeah, so that they're my sponsored company, and hoping that, and I know it's going to go great in the Indian market. So, and they thought of me. They're like, what better person to represent, So, yeah.
Because you hit all the boys. You are Indian. You have this inspired story. You're the all American girl, but you're not all American. That's
Right.
what thing I think you can go there. You can talk to say, hey, this is a star here. She's from here. She's one of y'all people, and she's
Yeah.
doing something that's not traditional, but it's something that we inspires her. We have here from a man, such a man, KL. He says this. He says, V, you make me want to tune in watching the bikini division. He's been to New York before. I think he was there. He actually probably saw you when you compete back in 2024 because sometimes he lives in New York. And a couple of
Yeah.
times he wanted to go to the part where it's all the other divisions, but he missed it. But he saw the bikini girls. He probably saw you one night. And
Oh,
also, he says this. She's Indian. Nice. How do you feel about bodybuilding in India?
yeah. So yeah, kind of like what we were talking about before, like bodybuilding in India is growing, and it's great. Sharu has opened that up, and the if you go to one of Sharu's show in India, they make it a big thing over there, and it's really growing, and I love seeing it like that to continue to grow. But there's still resistance a little bit with the women in bodybuilding in India, and so I'm trying to be one of the examples to show that yes, it's possible. And I go a little bit against the grain with our culture, with being a woman with that promoting having muscle and all this. But I am trying to pave that way for other women in India to show them that it's okay to do this. And yeah, so that's one of the things in bodybuilding. I'm just trying to continue to open up the sport for the women in India. And even just speaking to a few people in the Indian community who are big in the sport, they're saying how, the Indian culture, they love people education, they love medicine or engineer or whatever. So me being in medical school is a benefit in that way for them to open up and listen to me as well, because they see, okay, like they instant respect in that culture when you have that. And so me having that's a benefit to even just open up and have them listen to me when I'm speaking about being in bodybuilding and opening it up for women, basically. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, his comments like this. It says, yes, they have two divisions from what I understand, but it's still growing. Like I think it's bikini and maybe also figure. And I think physique started to grow a little bit in India because, like I said, two
Yeah.
ladies got a pro card.
Mm-hmm.
And also, he says, you speak Hindi. Yes, she does because she's bilingual. And also, I don't want, he wanted to ask you this. He says, are you single? That's none of your business. So,
It's like,
yeah, that's none of your business. If you want to know, here's what I tell you. Follow the link. Check her out. If you want to know that stuff, that's a lot of personal stuff. And I gotta ask her. Here, I'm from the South. You never ask a lady her business, okay? This is okay. But this is what if I could do. I would love to sponsor some ladies, especially as I know the cost of everything involved with it, the travel, the this, the that, the suits, the this, the training, the coaches. I would love to sponsor some ladies I could. But this is one thing. There's guys out there who are kind of like, the cute little girl there. If you do a favor for me, you want to be my doctor? No. You're sick freak. This is what say, Mrs. Andrade, we are so interested in you. Your story of how you came here to the country, you become a citizen of the country, you serve our country. You also are currently trying to get your degree as a doctor. I would say I am interested in you as a person and as an athlete. So we have a brand that we have, and we like to sponsor athletes. And if it's comfort with you, what you think is comfort with you as your lifestyle, as a bodybuilder, we want you to be part of our brand. But if it's not, then we understand. But if you feel like you can work with us, we work with you. We help you in your path. You help us with our product. We'd like you to be part of it. Would you be interested in that?
that sounds great. I mean, I would like to hear more about it. If you have, if you could send me, I don't know, a message or
That's
something.
that's
Details.
just that's just the thing I do. I don't have no company. So, but
Yeah.
that's how I think some people approach young ladies. They have a plan, tell you
Right.
what you need to know. Because sometimes some guys be out here like, I got this, I got that. And if you do this for me, those are the guys you
Yeah.
gotta be aware. Be like I said again, be aware of surroundings with. But if
Right.
there's people who is genuinely interested in you and say, you know what, your story about who you are, where you're from, how you got to sport, that's something we particularly like about you. I think this is something we want to help you in the future, and also in turn, you help us. That's what we like to see. Here he goes, my man. He's always like this. He says this. He says, let her answer. No, this all. This I'm telling you again. I tell us every time. I
That's
built this shit. Me, brick by brick. I don't need another man to tell me what I need to do.
great.
He's my brother. I
That's
love him,
so
but
funny. That's hilarious.
yeah, I'm like I said again. Sometimes, like I said, I'm just a clown. I just like to make people laugh. Oh, and before I leave you, I want to tell you something again. You're beautiful.
Oh, I won't forget it now. I've heard it so many times. That's so sweet. Thank you.
I'm sorry about him. He's just, but as I said again, he can preach me. So, before we let you go, madam, do you have, anybody you want to shout out to?
Really, it's the people I mentioned before. My main support system really is Dean Caputo and his gym. They're my family here since my family is not in Ohio. They became my family. So Dean's gym, CC, my whole like Jadu Coaching with her has been awesome. And then Jose, my body work.